Hello. We will be starting our webinar today. So, good afternoon, everyone. And though for those for whom the day is just starting, good morning. This is Ritam Chakravarti. I will be the host for today's webinar. And today we have a very interesting discussion lined up. But before I talk about the topic, let me also introduce you to the expert panel members that we have here today. I have with me Debjit Das, who is a senior technical architect, and he's leading the pre-sales division. He is into technologies, design, architecture for more than 2 decades now. Also, alongside me, we have Adita Badiani. She is a senior technologist and a program manager for the automation practice. She has been associated with RPA and other smart technologies for a long time, and she is primarily into delivery of customer-centric implementations. So welcome Adita and Devjit into the show.
Thank you, Rita.
Okay.
Thank you, Rita, for the lovely introduction.
So thank you, Adita. So now let me set up a bit of our context for today's discussion, so that the audience can follow the discussion properly. So if you take any technology, be it .NET, Java, RPA, AI, all of this, anything you pick, you see any technology will follow three phases in its life cycle. First is the hype phase, where you come to know about the technology and you start building an expectation from that technology. That's the hype phase. The second phase that comes after it is the maturity phase, where the technology actually matures and start delivering to its promises. Delivery might be overwhelming or underwhelming, either be it whatever the case be. And then comes the decline phase, where probably your expectations might have evolved and has gone beyond the capacity of the technology, or a newer generation technology might have replaced the older one, and the technology dies a slow death and a silent death. So this is typically the life cycle of any technology that you pick from the very first time to now, whatever we are seeing today. So now, as we speak, three very powerful technology verticals are converging into, or probably already has entered into their maturity phase. The IoT, the AI, and the RPA, for example. And that chance interaction, this chance event, where three of these highly potential technologies have converged into their maturity phase, has created so much of buzz in the technology domain. Because we believe that not just individually, but their intersection holds the potential, holds the future of new innovations that can drive business value generation in all the business world that we are seeing. And that's exactly what we are trying to discuss today, where we want to explain to you how businesses are trying to leverage these technologies to break their digital status quo that have reached now in terms of cost optimization, be it their operational excellence, or maybe improving their end customer experience, which is very, very crucial nowadays. So our team here will be trying to address some of those concerns. We will be explaining a few of the core concepts, providing you insight about the case studies and use cases that other companies are trying to use, so that when you go back, you carry along some of these inspirations, which we can actually implement in your own organization. So, and in this entire session, at any moment of time, if you have any questions, you just can click on the Q&A option on the top of your screen, and you post your queries. We will be picking up all those questions towards the end of the session, if the time permits. Otherwise, we will certainly reply you back offline, so don't worry. Our show is getting recorded, and we'll be sending you all the video recording after the show. So with that, I would hand over the reins to Devjit to carry forward this discussion. Devjit, over to you.
Yeah, thank you, Rhythm. Thank you for the primer. Um, yes, mostly I agreed with Rhythm, and I'm just about to brief on that. What makes it interesting is a combination or synthesis of these three emerging technologies, which has created a disruption in the across industries, and it has use in like all business domain in particular. So what I'll start by asking Aditya, because well, I'm just thinking aloud that to throw some light on these three technologies, or at least RPA and AI to start with, and also just let us know what is the possibility of using the capabilities of both AI and RPA to create or to rather to solve more complex business problems.
Thank you, Devjit. And I hope while I start, everyone are able to see my screens.
Yes.
Can you just confirm back?
Yes, we can see it.
Okay. So as Devjit mentioned about these technologies and the booming technologies which are upcoming in the market, to start with the preliminary, we'll get into a little bit of basics about, just a second. So getting into those basics about how RPA and AI at first works. So when we talk about RPA is primarily focused on automating routine and repetitive tasks, which is where transforming legacy challenges into digital dreams. Whereas AI, on the other hand, is a broader field that includes a range of technologies which enable machines to simulate human intelligence. So when we say AI is integrated with RPA, it can take automation into a different level, and when those next level of automations create wonders in terms of business evolutions by solving hundreds of problems in the modern business processes. So as we move ahead, we see that we all know that in RPA, the robots handle the work. So robots handle repetitions of human activities, and but the humans still drive the innovation because the robots are not intelligent enough to drive the innovation part of it. So that's where we say that when AI capabilities are enabled with RPA, it bridges the gap between the legacy systems to the modern efficiency. And in those terms where AI comes into place, AI empowers that human driven innovation into machine precision. So this integration actually allows the businesses to do more with less by not just automating actions, but by automating decisions over here. So, in a nutshell, when we say that RPA is integrated with AI, so it's where the traditional RPA is now modernized by the AI concepts of it. Usually, as we have been knowing that there are many AI, RPA tools available in the market, now most of those RPA tools are AI enabled. So it's like starting from the co-pilots in the tools, AI Fabric and AI Center in UI parts, be it IQ bots in automation anywhere. Most of the tools are AI enabled currently. So this is where we say how RPA automations are leveraged by AI. So does this uh, resonate to you, Dejit, as you were asking about this?
Devjit, you are in mute.
Yeah, Aditya, absolutely. And thanks for explaining it so nicely. Actually, it is kind of getting super exciting. While you explained that RPA mostly focuses on routine and mundane tasks, right? Thereby adding value to the business by cutting down uh, human effort or
Right.
effort drainage. Where AI, on the other hand, is like empowering solutions with cognitive capabilities or intelligence to make better decisions, and some of the things, some of the decision even the AI models are making nowadays. Just noticed, like topic says about a third technology, which is IoT. So I was just I was just thinking like or thinking aloud. Along with RPA and artificial intelligence, do you think that IoT can be combined as a trio to solve even more complex business problems?
Yes, Devjit. So when we say that RPA and AI are those powerful transformative technologies, IoT is also one of those. So these three technologies, which are very powerful individual technologies, when they are combined together, they actually create a powerful synergy that amplifies their individual capabilities and enables in reshaping industries by creating new capabilities in the business firm. So here, where we get into how these three are integrated, I would like to explain a concept of CIA, where C stands for collect, I stands for infer, and A stands for actions. So we'll get into the detailing of understanding it. So when we say collect, so basically it's where when we are talking about RPA, how RPA works. So RPA are the automated bots which work on a certain precision of data or information which is collected. So how these data are collected? It could be manual forms of Excel sheet, it could be data integrations, or it could be any other forms of computer vision and data lakes available in the market through which the information is collected. Now, once the collected information is there, there is RPA where it takes action on those information. So it's like collection of information via data integrations, computer visions, and then this collection and storage of information from multitude of different sources is now acted upon by RPA. So when we say acted upon by RPA, that's where the traditional RPA process, as I was talking about, is where without any intelligence, the RPA model just acts upon the information which is collected. Now, where we come into seeing how this information, which is initially collected, now where IoTs come into place, where the information is collected in a very structured form, and there is the AI and ML models along with Gen AI and deep learning systems, which does the inferencing. So coming down back again, the same raw content or information which was collected from those traditional devices now has sensors and IoT devices in place, which gives that collected data and information, which can be inferred by AI or some kind of predictive analysis can be done on that data which is collected from the IoT devices, and then acting upon that intelligent data is where RPA comes into scene. So all in total, the collection, the inference and action taking on those data is where simulation of these three entities and these three technologies combine to give a efficient output or a prolonged efficient solution to the system and business uh, requirements of the modern business processes.
So it seems like the in the school days we have learned that computer process is all about input, process, output. It's almost like that, where it's just that the input has now now been diversified into so many technologies of collect nature. Then output has moved into these action-oriented technologies. RPA is one of them. And then we have this super-powered inference building engine, which is aided by the ML, Gen AI, and all these deep learning systems are coming in, which actually kind of completes the cycle, it seems.
Right. And also, it's where there are many modern IoT systems which already have AI enabled into it. Similarly, as I talked about, where RPA tools also have AI enabled into it. So basically, this AI has now started taking the heart of these technologies which are booming in the market. So be it IoT, be it RPA, AI is still connecting all of those. So, Devjit, how does this look ahead to you? Where we talk about
Yeah,
and
I
the
find it very
topic as you
fascinating.
mentioned.
That this prospect looks very fascinating because individually they play a role, but when we tie it together, so we are looking at something end to end, like collect, infer, and act.
Right.
So we are talking about an end-to-end solution, and most likely a self-servicing solution, because the decision making is now added to the raw data. However, the action that is required is automation, right? So taking this interesting scenario, like let's talk about some, if you can give us some real industry use cases where we can have this trio of great technologies work together to provide some kind of an end-to-end solution.
Right. So, in the current industry market, most of the industries have those use cases where these three technologies together can be implemented, and most of the industry use cases already have implemented these. So, I'll talk about few of those. Now, maybe starting with one of the industry, which is manufacturing industry, and I would actually walk you all through and explain a bit in detail that how these three technologies on a particular use case moves ahead and solutionizes the problem to provide a specific uh, solution to that problem, and then giving a lot of benefits to the business processes. So picking up one of those being where we see maintenance of equipments. Now, as we all are aware that in the manufacturing industry, there are huge set of machineries and equipments which are used to manufacture the products. Now, those machineries also have wear and tear associated with it. They have a lot of maintenance activities which associated with it. And when these equipments have a kind of unplanned breakdowns, or if the equipment has some downtime associated with it, it happens on a very abrupt basis, and which impacts the production delays, and altogether is a delay in the whole supply chain of those activities. So to this problem, there is a very interesting solution which can be done, is where all these three technologies, how they can be integrated to solve this. So it's like where in the machineries and the equipments which are being used for the manufacturing, they are AI censored and installed in it. They have those vibrational sensors installed in it, which can collect some data. Now, what is that data? The data could be the heat generated by that equipment, what is the RPM of the machines, or it may even detect any abnormalities in the oscillations of the spindles of that machines. So all this information actually gives the health of that machine while it is working ahead. So all those information which is collected by those IoT sensors is fed to the AI system. The real time data which is fed to the AI system. Now AI, how it works over here is AI itself has its MI models, the machine learning and AI models in it. It uses and analyzes the standard of those AI models to the data which is collected from the IoT in the real time monitoring. And it predicts that if the temperature of this machine has risen from this specific limit, then there is a chances that the system will be overheated, or the equipment may break down. Or it can even sense that the forecasting that if the ball bearings are getting loosened off, maybe the ball bearings will fall off and the spindle bearing will fail within next 2 days, kind of. So all these kind of predictions which AI gives is something which is useful for the maintenance team. And here, when the automation or the RPA comes into scene, is where it immediately notifies the maintenance team and lets them know that this is the current condition of the equipment, and there is a alarm that there could be failure in the equipment. So all of this, which was initially done by manual activity, there was a maintenance team who would day in day out stand in front of those equipments to understand if each time and each moment the equipment is performing as expected. All this can be automated. Now, those automations of RPA would again help the maintenance team in understanding if the spare parts are available in the inventory or not, or if not available, placing orders of those spare parts which are required for repairing of these equipments. So all in all, when all these technologies come into place at one place, it gives a maintenance activity, and it doesn't allow unplanned breakdowns, which on the whole line of production line, it prevents the production delays and also helps in reducing operational costs. So overall, when we say these three technologies are combined to give a solution to such kind of real-time problem, it is where minimizing the downtime of the equipments, cost saving, and continuous learning. Now, when we say about continuous learning, there is again an interesting fact that if today the system couldn't predict and the equipment had breakdown, but that data which was used for this is again coming up fed into the same AI models. So in future, the same scenario doesn't come up. Or if it comes up, how in advance it should be planned so that it doesn't impact the production line. So this is how is continuous learning and a loop of how these three technologies work provides a better solution. So this is
So
one of
this
the use
actually,
cases.
sorry. So
Yes, Ritam, please go ahead.
this actually reminds me that once I was with one of the customers, and they were into jewelries, and they had this industry where they had this factory where golds are smelted and then mixed with different ingredients to get to a certain level, and then manufacture jewelries out of it. And they were saying that any operational breakdown is costing them huge amounts of business loss, and any defective gold production itself is a huge loss because they can't use it; they have to simply throw it away. So probably the solutions like this, what you're talking about, it's really making sense in these kind of high value precision industry where any loss of time or material is directly impacts the bottom line of the company. It really sounds there very well.
Absolutely, Ritam. So it's just not about like maintenance of equipments, like or detecting or predicting breakdowns or downtime. It is also the quality of the end product that is coming out of the assembly.
Right.
Correct.
That is also like we are trying to avoid over here.
Right. So that was I was about to speak, but Devjit mentioned it very appropriately here that a similar use case in the same manufacturing industry is where we understood that how the equipments are performing, the performance and KPIs of the equipments are to be maintained. It's also very important to understand the quality control and inspection of the final output of the manufactured products. So again, there is a need where the real time problems, and also as you mentioned, Ritam, that if the gold is not melted at right temperature, the output product is something which has to be thrown away. So similarly, just understanding that if my equipments are running fine, but still I see that my output product is not as expected. So how can we control that? Because the manufactured products could be of lower cost to higher cost, but at the end is everything in the supply chain is impacted. So with this as one of the major problems again in the manufacturing industry, there is where all of this can again be solved with these three technologies coming into scene together is where if we understand the how the manufacturing units work, once a product is goes through that equipments in the production line, there are conveyor belts where the products move from one location to other in between the units or the equipments of manufacturing. So there are sensors which monitor the environmental conditions, could be humidity, could be temperature, could be the vibrational level of those conveyor belts, which are analyzed by the IoT sensors, and this information is passed on to the AI models. There are also some cameras which are inbuilt over there at specific positions, which capture the real-time images of the products which go through on the conveyor belt. So when this information is fed to the AI models, the AI models analyze those captured images and then it identifies if the surface of a product. Now, just taking any one of the examples, it could be a gold biscuit, which Ritam was talking about. So, the surface of that gold biscuit, if it has some scratches, or if there is misalignment in the rectangular shape of those biscuits. So, it's like how properly the ingredients are assembled to give a final product. So, the AI models do the real time analysis of it, and they detect the defects at very early time, which helps in moving ahead with those products to be reworked upon it, or if the product is damaged enough that it has to be rejected, or if it passes through. So the quality check and the quality control, which is being done by the quality management system or a team manually, is now taken over by the AI models. So again, when these AI models detect some abnormality or by the analysis of its own understanding, it says that if a component is passed or it has to be rejected, similar logging of those issues is done by RPA. Maybe immediate notification to the quality management team that the assignment or they say the consignment of these 10 products in the conveyor belt doesn't look as expected. So there could be some actions has to be taken, that the production is to be kept on hold for a few minutes, come and have a check, a manual check, that what is the problem with this. Maybe the root cause could be something where it is with the machine has been overheated, hence the product which is coming out is not as expected. So immediate actions which has to be taken, taking corrective actions at right time is very important in these scenarios. So all of this is taken care by the RPA model over here. So all in total, where we say the issues which are there in the products manufactured is very correctly corrected with promptness, preventing major of breakthroughs and preventing more of defects with minimizing the wastes over here. So all in all, as we talk about in this manufacturing unit, talking from the equipments to the manufactured products, the real-time detection of the issue and a promptness in the correction of it is where the whole scenario lies into for seamless automation of these products. So with this, Devjit, there is something where I say that manufacturing industry is where many of these issues are there. We picked up a couple of use cases to explain this. Does this make sense to what we have been talking about?
Use cases, what in the manufacturing domain that you have described is absolutely very relevant and adds a lot of value to the entire process of manufacturing. Right. So equipment and quality side of it, both the things are like if it is goes down can be a deal breaker. So I think both the use cases are very relevant, I would say. But apart from manufacturing, if I would like to look outside of it, any other domains, for example, healthcare is a major domain. Retails can be another major domain. So do you see any application of this concept in those business?
Yes, there are many other domains where these technologies can be implemented. I will talk about one of the domain, as you mentioned, could be a retail domain. But there is a very interesting example which I would like to say, where it may seem as an example, but it's real time happening in a couple of countries around the world. So it's where we say personalized customer experience. Now, when we talk about retail industry, the only thing which comes into our mind is B2C, where business to customers and customers are involved into it. So, be it any industry, the most important is how our end customers are satisfied and how happy they are with the whole of experience. So, to mention about it, when we say the personalized customer experience, I would explain this with one of the interesting example, as I was saying is, if we all have heard of where we say there are smart stores. Now, we all know we do online shopping on e-commerce sites, but there is also something where you can have a similar experience of e-commerce site shopping in a real-time store. So when we say, when I'm talking about this smart store, what it is about is it starts with having an app installed in the customer's mobile of which is associated to that specific store. So if the customer has that mobile app installed in their phones, so when the customer actually walks into the doors of that store, the app gives a notification that you have arrived or you are on our store right now. And that app actually guides the customers to buy the products. Like if we know, as we are working on Walmarts and big bazaars around, we are looking into a product. Now, it may happen that we are not aware on which row and which rack is the product lying. So that mobile app actually guides the user while they have it on their phone to view and see the product which they are looking is on which rack. So it's like altogether no human intervention, but still the technology and the smart world helps the user in do the shopping. So these IoT sensors which we are talking about in this IoT world, now here my mobile app is actually behaving as one of the IoT data collection medium. So there are also backends which are installed in the entry of those malls where they recognize that this is a returning customer to the store. They have those cards which are smart censored enough. Those cards, when you add any products to those cards, the cards keep on showing you the billing or the cost of the products which you have added into your cart. Very similar to the experience which we have as an online platform. So it's like I am moving in the store, but still my cart has a screen which shows me that the number of products which I have put physically in my cart is ending up to a bill of this amount. So a similar experience, but obviously when it's on a real time, I can view the products, I can feel the products, that gives me a better experience. So with all of these data which is collected by those AI sensors, now by those IoT sensors, I mean to say, it is again fed to the AI of the app which the customer is using. Now, when you are using an app, you must have also seen many a times that when you view a product, you search something on Google, it understands that you are looking for something, and most of the ads, when you go ahead with other platforms, you see relevant ads over it. Similarly, that's all how AI works at the back end. So similarly over here, AI would actually analyze of some products which you have added into your cart, and similarly it will start sending notifications to your phone app and to the phone which the customer is having on hand, with some personalized maybe discounts or personalized offers, which is only available to me if I am a customer moving on that store. So it's where the information has been analyzed and the RPA works ahead to send those dynamic offers. So if I give as an example, I am as a customer, most of them in my carts and with my earlier purchases, the data which my app already holds says that I am an sports enthusiastic and I would like to buy most of the sports apparels or maybe Nike shoes. So with my past experience and my past purchases, AI predicts that I could be a athlete, and where I would also like to have maybe a gym bag. So kind of similar line products are now suggested to me over my app with some personalized discounts. So I get a notification on my phone that there is a gym bag available at that corner of the row or on the fifth row and seventh rack, which has some offer associated with it. Now RPA pushes me those notifications on my phone app, and that recommendation is something which actually makes me interested. So I go back and see that gym bag because it's on offer, and the offer is only for me, and I tend to buy that. And that's how at the end this whole cycle of getting the information, using it intelligently, and then recommending users for their experience and for them specifically showing those offers. So all in all, it gives a very good experience to user. And then the same cart, which at the end of billing process, when the user would or the customer would actually walk through at the end at the billing counter. So before it goes into it, the cart already gives an idea that what is the total amount the user has to pay, and there could be online transactions also associated with it. So the screen on the carts are also chip enabled, where the cards can be swapped and the billing could be done. So altogether, the whole experience of customer getting into the store and coming out of the store without any human intervention and having all of these technologies imbibed gives a very good personal experience to those users. And this brings upon loyalty of those customers to come back to the same store again, because at the end, there are a number of businesses which provide same kind of services, but I would obviously like to go to that business only, which is giving me a good experience. So at the end, it's experience which matters the most. So
Yeah,
this
I
was
think
all
here,
about where.
yeah, go
Yes,
ahead,
Rita.
complete yourself.
Correct.
Complete
No,
yourself.
I was just saying that this is where we could see that one of the very interesting use case in the retail industry, which can have a improved loyalty with the customers with their experience and engaging, including these three technologies altogether.
Correct. And I have picked two things out of this. There's the people always thinks that okay, automation, AI, everything will actually take away human intervention or humans control of it. But look at this. Here the final decision of whether I'm going to buy or not is still with human, is still in the person. So
Right.
this is the crux of the discussion, right? One of the crux is that human is a control freak. The decision of why part will always stay, the morality part will always stay with the human. The all the other technologies are actually helping me do the other stuff, but final decision making remains in the hand of the person. That's one point that I picked up. The other point that you mentioned very correctly, when somebody talks of IoT, we always think it's a very complicated device. I have to buy something, I have to put it something, I have to host it somewhere. But it's actually not the case always. because we are having the
Right.
very, very powerful IoT in our own hand. That's the mobile devices, which has so many IoT sensors already built into. So if we can actually use it properly, we can actually leverage it to the best of its interest. So that's another insight that I could gather. Thanks for Aditya for bringing this up. Yeah, over to you, Devjit. Devjit, you're on in mute.
Yeah, thanks, Ritam. So that was a very impressive use case. Actually, I would have imagined like the user experience would be at the different level. Like once you visit such a store, where if there is a guidance till he picks up, like guidance how much he or she has to pay and check out. So that would be a very good user experience. I would say that's a very use case to understand.
Yes, yes. So, like as we move ahead, where we have been talking about manufacturing and retail, now everything altogether, as we understand, falls under supply chain and logistics. So, I would also like to state one more example along with the use case where we talk about how these three technologies can work on the supply chain and logistics domain side. And again, with where I'll put down one of these examples, which we can very well associate it from the industry background, where we see that there is always a lack of real-time tracking and visibility of the products which move in the supply chain, and which leads to a lot of delays, inefficiencies in decision making, and also there is a risk associated with the supply chain. So, how these three technologies combine together to create a synergy of risk management in the supply chain, and also where the end prediction about how it can leverage the domain experience. So, talking about it, with this, I'll also give a small example where if a shipment is being shipped from one location to other, and maybe by via road, and the shipment is carrying some temperature sensitive vaccines in it. Now, the containers are the cold storage containers which walk through the which the trucks carry ahead, and they have those temperature sensitive vaccines in it. Now, those containers in real time, if we know that it has to be maintained, the vaccines has to be maintained on a specific temperature to avoid spillage and spoilage of it. Now, in real time, when the trucks are moving, there are only the drivers who are carrying those trucks. They may not be aware that if the container on the back of the truck has stopped working, or if the cold storage is not maintaining the optimum temperature. So to avoid this, there are those IoT enabled containers. Also, they have those sensors and GPS location tracking associated with those containers, which helps in collecting the information that if the temperature is maintained or not. The sensors detect that if there is any rise in temperature beyond the acceptable limits, so what action has to be taken. Now, IoT's work is to collect that information. So those containers are, if they are IoT enabled, they collect that information and they fed it to the next system. So the next system, which is the AI system, what it does is it predicts the likelihood of spoilage of those vaccines which are moving in the road. Now, it may recommend that the consignment could be rerouted to one of the nearby cold storage facility, or rerouting the route, so that in a minimum of delay, the vaccines which are in between of maybe not working or non-functional container, how it reaches to a nearby, excuse me, how it reaches to a nearby cold storage facility, so that the wastage is minimum. So when this prediction is done by AI, immediately the RPA bots are waiting for those indications, and it takes the action. Now the RPA bots send immediate alerts to the logistics managers, and maybe the inventory persons or the heads who are not aware that there is a impromptu shipment coming with some vaccines, and which will require an immediate action on it. So it would send those immediate alerts to the respective cold storage functionalities. It may notify them that container of so and so height and width and all of this is coming to their place. So they are pre-planned and pre-prepared that there is arrival of such containers. And then what next action has to be taken so the consignment reaches to the expected destination with minimum of delay and maximum of efficiency and also minimum of wastage of those products. And when we talk about medicines and these kind of vaccines, they are too costly. So to minimize those costs also which are associated with the products, which the supply chain altogether is something which requires immediate and prompt actions. So when these are left to manual activities, it tends to a lot of decision making, which could also involve a lot of errors, inefficiencies, and delays. Now, all this can be mitigated by having these technologies in space, so that when these three are in place, it enhances the visibility, the real-time data detection of it, and faster issue resolution to how actions has to be taken, and further having a smoother execution of the supply chain and all and all. So it's like when we talk about manufacturing industry to retail to healthcare domain or supply chain, altogether everything falls within the whole huge spectrum of supply chain. So these technologies are not just technologies to be worked on computers. Now it is coming to the real world, where how it is solving the real world scenarios and situations and improving the efficiency and customer experience at the end. So I guess I have that's all to share about the use cases. Devjit, would you like to add anything to this over here?
Devjit, you are in mute.
Yeah, that was very actually, Aditya, exciting and insightful discussion where we saw like all three discrete technologies, how it can be combined in their capabilities to, I mean, create powerful solutions which are autonomous and self-servicing, right? And what it does is like, first of all, it avoids over dependence on human intervention, be it in repetitive tasks or decision making in some cases, which actually leads to augmentation of efficiency, I would say, across multiple business domains. Like we talked about manufacturing, we talked about use cases of retail, we talked about use cases of supply chain logistics. So I like this concept, and from the use cases you have presented, it is highly, it's not something fictional. It looks like pretty real and implementable.
Right. So with this,
yeah, go ahead.
Yes, Vitam, please go ahead.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
So I was just talking that with this real-time worlds, as Devjit mentioned, that it's not only fictional and theoretical, but it's into the real world now. With these examples, I would like to actually conclude and take you all through what we have discussed, a recap of it, where we say that how these three technologies, these individual technologies combine to create wonders in this business world, where we have already understood that RPA is like turning the human driven activities into bot driven. So basically, it's like turning processes from manual to magical world. But when it is associated with AI, it has something else to move ahead, or one step ahead, where we say it enables the AI powered bots to execute the processes for the smarter workflow, and it creates more intelligent, efficient, and customer centric business processes. Now, again, when these two are topped with IoT, it goes up to the next step where it transforms connectivity into capability and enabling in connecting devices from IoT, thinking intelligently from AI, to acting efficiently in the RPS, which is revolutionizing my operations from edge to enterprise. And also, where we say now the automation is not only elevated, but it is leveraged by interaction of sensing, thinking, and doing things very efficiently. So,
Very
to
nicely put.
conclude this, where we say the power of Trio lies in empowering the transformation of data to decisions to actions. So, transforming the data which is collected, deciding on by the AI models, and taking actions by the RPA. So, hence, enabling in turning into IoT insights to AI predictions to be automated by RPA. Hence, I would say that it's all in all transforming my insights into intelligent actions. So with this, I conclude and say that's all I have to share. Where about leveraging the IoT, AI, and RPA technologies and transforming those insights into intelligent actions.
Thanks, Aditya. Thanks. Pritam, would you like to add anything if you like?
Yeah. So I think I don't have any audience questions, but people can always write to us, and we will probably answer them. But just to conclude and overall summarize this, one of the interesting thing that I was thinking while Aditya was explaining that RPA used to be a technology which used to automate the back office activities traditionally. But with the integration or with the intersection with IoT and AI coming into play, it's like bringing the back office stuff back on the front office. Right? It's now more into the customer-centric integrations, where the technology from the back office automation has been transformed into front office automation, where it is direct integration with the customers in our play. So this is certainly a big, a very interesting discussion. And especially in the context where the business at this moment, it is navigating the business profitably in this so much of confusion because of geopolitical unrest or price rises, inflation, and all this going on. It's really the need of the time is to do more with less, delivering more with less resources. And for that, we require this kind of semi-automated, semi-autonomous systems which can not only improve the increase the pace of servicing, but also improve the quality and also most importantly the end user experience, the personalized customer experience. So that is the key. Probably I will say that this has been really a very good discussion. I hope our audience have kind of got what they are looking for. And thank you, Aditya and Debjit, for your interesting, insightful discussions. We will certainly come back with another new discussion. But till that time, I would say thank you and goodbye and have a nice day.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ritam.
Thank you.